Hey everybody, welcome to Cut Transform Glue. I begin this project looking for interesting gribblies as I want to try to stretch my creative muscles and experiment with different shapes. So in this first moment, I'm looking for cool pieces that I normally wouldn't choose for a tiny spaceship. I'm keeping an open mind for this one. I'm not even sure this is going to be on the Merchant Fleet series or if this is a cargo ship or a combat one. I'm just looking to have fun and experiment with shapes. This first scribbly belonged to a broken office printer, so some cleaning was necessary. There was a ton of grease and some nasty things stuck to it. Once it was clean, I could glue it back shut with some sea glue. Then I took it to my drill press and enlarged the hole it already had that I'm going to use as a guide for the next gribbly in order to keep things aligned. I then added a few extra shapes here and there, covering unwanted holes and removing some unnecessary features from the black gribbly. And all of that hand shakiness is due to a ton of coffee and no food. Don't worry, I'm totally fine. At that point, this spaceship reminded me of an older project. Can you guys guess which one? This is the Sniper Spaceship project, and I believe I used some very similar shapes to make the Sniper, so this is probably why they look so much alike. Then I grabbed a tiny little acrylic disc, made a flat spot on it with my disc sander, and attached it to the white gribbly to cover this unwanted hole it had. I grabbed a couple of really old keyboard keycaps, which is a gribbly I've been using a lot in my projects. I removed the concave feature from it using a sandy stick and glued both of them on the bottom of the black shape. An extra detail on the top combining some delicate tube gribblies and the body of the spaceship was finished. Okay, so then it was time to work on the wing. Part of this spaceship with weird shapes experimentation idea is to break out of that flat piece with things on top look of all my past projects. So I decided to grow it to one of the sides, breaking the symmetry. I stacked a couple of 3mm timing pieces to make this wing shape, and then I drew some round corners and angles, which I made using a handsaw and of course my beloved disc sander. And the tiny Lego piece was used to create a nice attachment point. This will be very helpful on the painting process. Now to make the engine, I decided to go again with a gribbly I used on the second spaceship from the Merchant Fleet series, the bottom twist piece of a deodorant. And here's where things went wrong. The bottle plastic was too thick, so the snap knife wasn't gonna cut it. I mean literally, so I went for my favorite Dremel bit. Now please forgive me for this super blurry footage, I just wanted to show you guys my big mistake. I totally screwed the piece with my Dremel chuck, and I wasn't too happy about it. Now fortunately I remembered that I had a 3D printer and that saved my life. I quickly modeled and 3D printed a similar piece and I was good to go. Then it was time to work on the front of the spaceship, so I grabbed that white gribbly I chose before and removed the core of it on my drill press. I added another tube inside it that perfectly matched the gribbly I had added to the spaceship body, creating another great attachment point. And all around that white tube gribbly I went and added some cargo pieces, just cause I thought it would look weird and kinda fun. But as you can see, the body is already full of details. Let me show you how I got there. The detailing phase is where I'll go for the tiniest gribblies I have in my collection, like buttons and laptop keycaps, some custom resin pieces full of tiny little details, and all sorts of cool things and shapes. Right here I decided to attach a tiny piece that I have that I rarely use in my builds, but it is one that I love the look and I think it kinda has a spaceship vibe to it. almost like a small satellite that could be deployed. And I don't usually do panel lines on my builds, as I like to just use the lines I already have on the grippers, but the wing was a flat piece of styrene, and styrene is amazing for panel lines. You just gotta scratch the surface with a sharp tool and you're done. A couple of extra detail pieces on the edge of the wing and I was done with the build portion of this project. Even though this was a one-day quick little project, I managed to keep the spaceship in separate pieces, which is helpful for the painting process. I again, for this one, went with an airbrush to obtain a smooth surface and a good finish. Coming up with new spaceship ideas every week can be quite challenging, so making experiments is very helpful. I like to thank my patrons for all the amazing support, and as always, thanks for watching.